Another chat, cook, and pray. We're here. We're going to sing our song. So get ready. You guys should know it by heart by now. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here's a story that must be told about two ladies that are kind of old. One's a pastor, the other's not. They like to chat and cook and pray a lot. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, pray. There's lots of laughter and lots of fun. Tuesdays on Facebook, live at 1. You'll never know what will happen when Lucy and Ethel are at it again. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, pray. Amen. I just want to say that no matter where you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. And we are brought by Bethel United Church of Christ. So that is a glorious thing. Bethel's been in the chat, cook, and pray business for over a year now.
Yes, I know.
That's something. That is something.
You know, and our menus have grown from our earlier days.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. But anyway, I'm going to get out of the way. She's going to start cooking fast because we've got to actually cook this today. So I'm going to start reading some history. You guys just join us, and I'll be reading your names off. And she is going.
Okay. The menu
Jamie's
says,
watching. Hi, Jamie.
Oh, it says a quarter cup of mayo. I'm not going to. Oh. You know, it might help if I opened up the mayo. This is a brand new
A brand new Mayo. Probably because we're reading about Mayo today.
That could be.
So she forgot to open it.
I thought I'd used it over here before.
Okay, you had not.
I obviously had not.
Yes.
And it's very hermetically sealed.
Yeah. So now she's going to squirt it again. A quarter cup. She's eyeballing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
That looks good. You know, we're just not going to. A lot of my cooking is not by exactness.
It's by feel.
It's kind of like your sermons.
Yeah.
She touched me.
She touched me with mayonnaise on her fingers. Okay. All right.
And then I'm just going to add in the spices of the rosemary, the basil, and onion powder, and so that and some
Pepper.
I wanted fresh ground pepper. What did I forget? My fresh ground pepper.
Okay,
All
so
right,
here's
so I'll be putting all this in and just stirring it in, and then I'm going to just.
And these are all the amount you put in your recipes.
Yes, it's all there. Just half a teaspoon,
and then she goes.
It was salt I needed.
Okay.
Aha. All right, we've had an exciting day today.
Oh yes, and we might as well face up and say it. We locked ourselves out of the church right before this was going on. Hi, Derek. Anyway, we luckily had a phone with us, and we had taken the key for the mailbox because we wanted to go down and look at that. And we even said, we'll shove that board in there to keep the door open. And when we got outside, there was a car in the parking lot, and we didn't see a driver in it. It was kind of at an angle, and so we started walking toward the... oh, no. We let the door slam behind us without thinking of the wooden block. And Marty said, we don't have our keys. So what did we have to do? We had to call someone to fly in. And our hero was Fulvio, who got here and unlocked the door. We walked down to the mailbox. And I guess the guy thought... when Marty started calling on the phone to get someone to unlock the door, they must have thought we were calling police or something, because, man, he just took off. So, anyway, that's how our days go.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's so many interesting things going on. But, we would not miss this. I guess, Marty, what do you think? Would we have had to break through a window?
No, we would have called for help from Facebook Live while we were supposed to be
we would have sent out a message to you all. Who's close and can come unlock the door?
So we can cook your meal for you today.
But Fulvio was there, so yippee-yi-yo. Okay, she's mixing up all those herbs in the mayo.
Yes. Oh, onion powder. Oh, it smells good. You know, this would be good on a sandwich.
Okay
What
by
kind of
me.
Hamburger.
Okay, because now she's going to get ready to dip the chicken tenders.
Actually, what you do is you just spread
Oh,
it
you spread
over.
it on the... Now, this says chicken breasts, but you can also do tenders because it
Oh, and
cooks
you can
much
use-
faster.
Somebody said, well, actually, the original recipe called for you to cut up a whole chicken. That is so not going to happen in my lifetime.
Okay, so she did not cut up a chicken, but she did use chicken tenders.
Yes, and somebody said they didn't like white meat, so they had only used chicken thighs.
Okay.
And then another person said that they liked the legs, and then somebody else said they used it on pork. So it's kind
Okay,
of
so I guess it's a universal use of mayo. And you're going to hear about mayo because it was quite...
ad nauseum.
It was, yeah, it was quite revered. So she's putting it on one side, and then I'm assuming you put it on the other
Yeah.
side after you lay it in there.
Yes, I'm not into making a bigger mess than necessary today.
Okay, so she's doing that, and I'm going to start reading because she's about done with getting it ready. And then she'll stick it in at 350 is what it's supposed to be. I think she's put that up to 365
Yeah, I did
because we wanted to get done.
Yes,
So,
we're hungry.
so while she's finishing that, I'm going to stand here and read to you all. Oh, that covers her up. Let me see. I will stand beside you.
Oh,
Beside you, my friend. Okay, mayonnaise, informally mayo, is a thick cold sauce or dressing commonly used in sandwiches, hamburgers, composed salads, on French fries. It also forms the base for many other sauces such as tartar sauce, remoulade, salsa golf,
Huh?
and look, salsa golf,
I wonder what that
and
is.
roux.
What's roux?
I don't know.
Maybe it tells us.
Mayonnaise is an emulsion of oil, egg yolk, and acid, either vinegar or lemon juice, and there are many variants using additional flavoring. The color varies from near white to pale yellow, and its texture is a light cream to a thick gel. There's egg-free alternatives that are made for vegans and those who avoid chicken eggs or dietary cholesterol, as well as people with egg allergies. Now, for a brief history of the mayonnaise. Before the sauce called mayonnaise appeared in French cookbooks in the 18th century, several versions of similar sauces existed in Spain and France. Well, of course, because it's appeared in French cookbooks. Okay. In 1750, Francesc Roger Gomila, a Valencian friar, published a recipe for a sauce similar to mayonnaise in Art de la Cuina, the art of cooking. He calls the sauce aioli. See, they use aioli for other things now. Earlier recipes of similar emulsified sauces, usually bearing garlic, appeared in a number of Spanish recipe books, dating all the way back to the 14th century. Okay, what are you going to say?
We're just listening to the words of wisdom.
Well, I'd rather sit and do it.
I think that's a great idea. Because, given your advanced age.
My advanced age and my arthritis. Okay, here's our little bobbleheads. I'll take those over while you turn the camera.
Okay, well, you get over there first so that when I zip over to there,
Okay.
we won't have too much dead airspace.
I know.
Because we don't.
And
Okay.
I will let them say hi to you. Hello, folks. We're happy to have you.
Hi.
Okay.
All right. Now you're in place. Now I will run around.
And there we go.
We spin ourselves around here.
Spin ourselves around. Oh, there. Yep.
There we go.
Hooray.
Hooray!
We are here.
Oh gosh. Yes, we are glad to be here.
Take a deep breath.
Now we can just sit down and enjoy the atmosphere.
I think that's Jody on there now, Jody Meyer.
Oh, we'll take a look.
You might want to look on your phone.
Well, that would be interesting. Oh, she sent us a heart.
Okay. So here are, the sauce had clearly spread throughout the crown of Aragon because Juan de Alamirez gives a recipe for it in his celebrated 1745 recipe book, Nouveau Arte de Cocina, New Art of Cooking. On April 18th in 1756, the Duke of Richelieu, oh, I love that word, invaded Minorca and took the port of Mahon. A theory states that the aioli beau sauce was thereafter adopted by the cook of the Duke of Richelieu, who upon his return to France made the sauce famous in the French court. There it became known as mayonnaise, indicating it was named after the city of Mahon. Mayonnaise is named after the French city of Mahon. A number of legends arose relating how the Duke of Richelieu first tried the sauce, including his discovery of the sauce in a local inn at Mahon, where he would have allegedly asked the innkeeper to make him some dinner. Okay. Other sauces similar to mayonnaise seem to have existed in France prior to the conquest of Mahon by Richelieu. Another version is a Guillemot de la Reynie, 1808, and it's called Bayonnaise sauce, which is a sort of aspic. But if one wants to make from this cold chicken a dish of distinction, one composes a bayonnaise, whose green jelly of a good consistency forms the most worthy ornament of poultry and fish salads. I don't know, that doesn't sound too hot to me. French recipes, sauce. Okay, gelatin, vinegar, and optional egg to thicken it. So it's a much thinner sauce. Alright.
Oh, Lord Buck is watching.
Oh, good. The origin of the name is unclear. A common theory is that it's named for the city of Mahon, in honor of Richelieu. One version of this theory says that it was originally known as salsa mejanosa in Spanish, but that spelling is only attested later. Okay, somebody rejected the name mayonnaise, and that's what I just read, and called this bayonnaise. What are you laughing at?
Well, because my phone's picking up you're talking and it's telling me that it
Okay.
wants to know if you want a translation for salsa mayonnaise.
No, I don't want any translations.
And
I'm
it said you
speaking.
can have it English to Spanish. Would you like that? Here it is in Spanish. Look.
Yeah, that's good. That'll stay there. Another suggestion is that it derives from Charles de Lorraine, Duke of Mayenne, Mayeenne, because verb mener means to handle. Another suggestion is that because he took the time to finish his meal of chicken with cold sauce before the Battle of Arques. Regardless of the origin of the term mayonnaise, predating the arrival of Richelieu, the original name of the sauce before the second half of the 18th century was aioli beau. This term was used in early 1700 cookbooks. Recipes for mayonnaise. Okay, we know most of them. Mayonnaise takes 3 spoonsful of almond, 6 ditto of aspic, 2 of oil. You know what?
I think we should buy it.
I think
at
we just
Hellman's.
make
Sounds good to
make
me.
our mayonnaise with egg. You whip the egg. I've made homemade
I
mayonnaise
used to make it
before.
homemade when I was a kid.
In 1820, Verard described something like the more familiar emulsified version. This sauce is made to take in many ways, with raw egg yolks, gelatin, with veal or veal brain glaze. You know what? I can't think of anything that sounds more tasty than a veal brain glaze. A glazed brain of veal. Why didn't we think of
Have you
that?
ever had, well, we used to eat pork brain sandwiches all the time.
I do not eat brains.
It's obvious.
I no to brains on me. Okay. The most common method, you take a raw egg yolk in a small tureen with a little salt and lemon juice, take a wooden spoon, turn it while letting a trickle of oil fall and stir constantly, and as your sauce thickens, add a little vinegar, put in too a pound of good oil, how many eggs you have to use. Anyway, that's basically mayonnaise. The egg, the oil, the vinegar.
Or you can go to Costco and buy.
Go to
a
Costco
3-pack.
and buy the 3-pack of those huge jars.
Well, there's a 3-pack of that Hellman's that I had. That's where I got it at. It was on
Oh.
sale.
Okay. Modern mayonnaise can be made by hand with a whisk and a fork or with the aid of an electric mixer. It's made slowly, combination of different things. The high viscosity of mayonnaise is attributed to the total strength created by these 2 intermolecular forces.
Wow.
Oil and egg. Addition of mustard contributes to the taste, and further stabilizes the emulsion, as mustard contains small amounts of lectin. For large-scale preparation of mayonnaise where mixing equipment is being employed, it begins with the dispersal of eggs, either powdered or liquid. So they're talking about the big where we
Yeah.
get our helmets. See, I'm a helmets person.
Yeah, I've become a Hellman's person.
I love helmets.
Yeah.
Often a long agitation process. Well, that's kind of like you and me. We're kind of a long agitation process to each other. Okay. Let's see. There's Miracle Whip, which is a mayonnaise alternative. And let me say this. Who do I see up there? You said it was Lori Buck, and I see some
It's
other.
Lori and Elaine
And
McDuff
Elaine
is there.
McDuff, hi. Miracle Whip, they say, is a mayonnaise alternative. However,
Do you know
My-
Diane Pugh?
who?
Diane Pugh?
I'm not sure.
She's watching.
Okay. So, what I tried at one point, I always make the deviled eggs for all of our family dinners, and I got it from Terry's mother, which she was a person who, you threw this in, you threw that in, but I watched her long enough that I could whip out some of the best deviled eggs in the world. Well, one time I wasn't gonna make the eggs, so they asked somebody else to make them, and my kids, who are used to mayonnaise, knew immediately that those eggs weren't mayonnaise, because Miracle Whip is sweet,
Well, it also has it actually has more of an acidic taste to it
okay?
than
And
the
it's
mayo.
marketed as a salad dressing,
Right.
okay,
So actually using it in a salad dressing is a much smarter
Okay.
thing to do.
yeah. And then it goes on how it's used commonly around the world, we know that. See, if we ever wanted to find something to have in common with somebody, we should ask them about how they feel about mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, I think that's a great
And
idea.
that would
And
be-
which brand?
Yeah,
You
and
know.
which brand, and that would be a topic that, really has nothing that would make anybody mad.
Well, our problem is we both like the same things.
I
and
know,
so-
well, that's okay, we need to find that out too.
Yeah.
Chile is the world's third major per capita consumer of mayonnaise, and the first.
Who?
Chile is the
Isn't
world's
it?
third major per capita consumer of mayonnaise and first in Latin America.
Wow.
Commercial mayonnaise became widely accessible. Listen to how late in life this happened. Commercial mayonnaise became widely accessible in the 1980s.
What?
So they didn't even have mayonnaise till the 1980s
In Chile?
in Chile.
Oh, I thought you meant here in the United States. I thought, God, where
No,
was I all this
Chile.
time?
It is a common topping for completos. Do you know what completos are?
No.
Completos. It's a common topping for that.
Hmm.
Okay, Europe. Guidelines issued in September 1991 by Europe's Federation of Condiment Sauce Industries recommend that mayonnaise should contain at least 70% oil and 5% liquid egg yolk. The Netherlands incorporated this guideline in 1998. Most available brands easily exceed this target. In countries influenced by French culture, mustard is also a common ingredient.
I'm gonna show a picture of a pimento.
Okay, so this is how they use in Chile.
And then I'll tell you what
This
it's
is
made of.
how they use their mayonnaise.
There it is.
It looks like a taco.
No, it doesn't. When you
Oh.
actually see the picture, it looks like kind of a sandwich, like a hot dog.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
here's what it is. A completo is a very popular Chilean signature on the concept of a loaded hot dog. Served by street vendors and other casual restaurants, the dish consists of your basic hot dog on a bun,
Uh-huh.
topped with sauerkraut, diced tomatoes, mashed avocado, and a generous drizzle of mayonnaise.
Okay, now you guys know what you're ordering when you order a completo.
Hey, we could make that next week. We could make this. That would be fun.
Go ahead, girl.
I got hot dog buns. I
Okay,
got
in
hot
Japan,
dogs.
there's something called Kewpie mayonnaise. Japanese mayonnaise is typically made with, of course, rice vinegar, which gives it a flavor different from mayonnaise made from distilled vinegar. And I'm not pronouncing these words.
Oh, come on.
Something takoyaki and yakisoba, and may also accompany a katsu and a karaage. It is most often sold in soft plastic squeeze bottles, of course. Its texture is, I love it when they came up with the squeeze bottle for mayonnaise. It was always so hard getting that last
Oh,
bit
yeah.
out of the jar.
Yeah.
Its texture is thicker than most Western commercial mayonnaise. Remember, it's called Kewpie. It's the most popular brand of Japanese mayonnaise, advertised with a Kewpie doll logo. So that's why they call it Kewpie. The vinegar is a proprietary blend containing apple and malt vinegars. The Kewpie company was started in 1925 by Toshiro Nakashima, whose goal was to create a condiment that made eating vegetables more enjoyable. There you go. I can understand why you need to make vegetables more enjoyable. I'm not a veggie eater.
You aren't?
Could you always figure that out?
Well, when he rejected the eggplant, I should have been suspicious.
Russia, mayonnaise is very popular in Russia. It's made with sunflower oil and soybean oil. Let's see who's out there. 2004 study showed that Russia is the only market in Europe where more mayonnaise than ketchup is sold. Now that's something. They sell more mayonnaise than ketchup, because ketchup is the top condiment. It's used as a sauce in the most popular salads in Russia, such as the Olivier salad, known as the Russian salad, dressed herring, and many others. Okay, here's the U.S. Commercial mayonnaise sold in jars originated in Philadelphia in 1907. That surprises me too. So we didn't really sold in jars, I guess. When Amelia,
They may have made it from scratch.
yeah, Schloer decided to start selling her own mayonnaise recipe, originally used in salads sold in the family grocery store. Mrs. Schloer's mayonnaise was an instant success, and eventually grew into the Schloer Delicatessen Company. Around the same time in New York City, a family from Wetzlar, Germany, at Richard Hellman's Delicatessen on Columbus Avenue, featured his wife's homemade recipe. That's where Hellman's came from. The condiment quickly became so popular that Hellman began selling it in wooden boats. That were used for weighing butter. In 1912, Mrs. Hellman's mayonnaise was mass marketed and trademarked in 1926 as Hellman's Blue Ribbon Mayonnaise. Hellman's is known as Best Foods in the Western United States. Mayonnaise sales, okay, here's where we all need to go if we're looking for a job.
See, here's the Hellman's, and with the blue label and everything.
Look at that. Yes. Hellman's Blue Ribbon Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise sales are about how much do you think is sold? How much dollar-wise do you think is sold in mayonnaise in the United States?
Oh my gosh.
What do
I
you
don't.
think?
Would it probably be over 10 million? I don't know.
$1.3 billion per year.
Per year.
$1.3 billion.
Oh, good Lord.
Wow. Okay, so then there's a whole bunch here on nutritional information, and since we're eating it, I'm not going to go through that. But it says the nutrient content of mayonnaise. It talks about it can contain as much as 80% vegetable oil, or remaining ingredients, 4% vinegar, 1% salt, 1% sugar. Low-fat formulas decrease oil content to just 50%. But now, you can get everything with non-fat or whatever.
But it doesn't cook the same.
Nope, it does not. It does not.
And for what you gain, you might as well enjoy your food. You're not going to live any longer by not doing it.
Okay, then we get to the big thing that had always been a problem with mayonnaise, was if it stayed out too long in warm weather, because of the raw egg in it, it would get, it could pass on salmonella. Mayonnaise, both commercially processed and homemade, has been associated with illness from salmonella globally. The source of the salmonella has been confirmed to be the raw eggs. Yeah, we know. Several outbreaks with fatal cases have been recorded with a few major incidents. In 1955, there was an outbreak in Denmark, and 10,000 people were affected by salmonella from contaminated mayonnaise made by a large kitchen. The pH of the mayonnaise was found to be 5.1 with salmonella counts of 180,000 CFU. I don't know what that means. The second outbreak, also in Denmark, well, Denmark has a problem.
Yeah.
What, do they keep it in a warm room
Well,
or something?
they may not have have refrigeration
Maybe.
because they're cold, so in the wintertime they
That's
think we
true.
don't need refrigeration.
Right. In the U.S., 404 people became ill and 9 died in a New York City hospital due to hospital-prepared mayonnaise. Now, man, talk about losing trust in your care
I wonder
facility.
if they had any lawsuits.
I don't know. It doesn't say what year that took place. Maybe it was 76. In 76, there were serious salmonella outbreaks on 4 flights to and from Spain, which caused 500 cases and 6 fatalities. In all salmonella, now they call it salmonellosis cases, the major reason was inadequate acidification of the mayonnaise. They didn't add enough acid,
They didn't add enough vinegar to it.
lemon juice,
Yeah.
whichever one you do.
Yeah.
So there you go. But you know what? We don't have to worry about it because we're cooking this mayonnaise.
Yes.
So
Oh, and the reason why we don't have Randy today,
why isn't he on?
well, I'm gonna have to watch what I say around him after this because he's getting hearing aids and he's gonna be hearing my little snide comments that I make and I'm gonna be in big trouble. Big trouble if he
Big
catches
trouble for you.
on. You know, that happened with my boss in aviation.
What?
Because I used to make all these little comments to him and I'd tell him the
Marty,
things
you
that-
will never learn.
Well, I used to make these little, I tell him the things, the people said things that maybe they had, and I told him he'd agreed to do certain things that he didn't understand what they'd really said, and he did whatever I told him. That was the scary part.
Yes.
But then he got hearing aids and I had to stop that routine.
Well, then you're gonna have to just put a tape on your mouth when you're around Randy, because I'm sure you.
Well, I'll save him up for you.
Yeah, save him up for me. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I don't care. But anyway, what do we got? How are we doing over
It's
there?
almost done.
It's almost done. I
It's
see.
early, because I've been smelling it, and I went and looked at it. It smells almost done.
Well, I think it can go a couple more minutes. Well,
Yeah.
I need to get something I want to read to the folks. Okay.
Which book
What-
do you want?
I don't know. I'm gonna pick one of our books. I'm starting to go through my books in my office. I'm trying to separate some out. I've got doubles of some I've had for years. Some I don't even know where they came from. But I'm trying to separate them out, and I will have here at church a table set up with books on it for you all to take at your leisure, if there's any that you find interesting. Some of you that are interested in some of the books studying of, different writers and theologians, I'll have some of those, because I have no more use for them as far as I already have practiced
You got it
enough.
memorized.
I know. But anyway, that's what we're doing. I'm gonna go find me one of those books
Well, hurry.
and bring it back.
All right. While she's gone, I'll tell stories about Pastor Karen.
Yeah, I don't think we need to. I'm sure they all
You'll
have.
hurry now.
They all have their own stories.
Oh, actually, let's see. Reminder is Sunday is Communion Sunday, and we will not be worshiping in the parking lot or at Bethel. It will be a recorded service that we'll have done earlier with Southwood UCC and Reverend Michael Stevens and their music team as well as our music team. So it will be a really great service. And so on Sunday, make sure you have your communion elements ready. And I will be sending more information out on that. I sent out this morning the May birthday list that I had forgotten to send yesterday because we have a couple birthdays coming up. Vern Bomeyer on May 6th will be 90 years old. Oh no, he's older than that. It's 90, well, I think it's 90. Pastor Karen will correct me when she comes back in. Anyway, it's all pretty exciting stuff. And let's see, trying to think of what else is going on. We're just going through things here and trying to clean out Pastor Karen's office, which is a sad time, but it's a necessary thing, unfortunately, if she wants to retire. Here she comes.
Here I come. Here I come.
No, is Vern gonna be 90 on his birthday?
Yes, on May 6th.
You know, that's the anniversary of your being a ordained
Ordained.
pastor for 20 years.
Yes, it is.
2 decades. Did you ever think you'd still be a pastor
No. Since I started so late, I wasn't expecting to
Well, but
stay
you know,
for so long, but I loved it, so
well, that's probably giving you a better perspective on the human life form
that's right.
that we all are.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. I
am
heard
going
something ding.
It's you, you're dingy. I'm going to
dinging.
move over our people and try not to knock the table over when I do it. There's our little table.
Yeah, there they are.
And I also brought for our dining pleasure, I bought mashed potatoes and green beans that I cooked
Oh, for
previously.
Pete's sakes. Now, have you shared with them what's going on with you? Do you want to do that when you come back and sit down? Or do you want me to?
You can go ahead and do
Okay,
it.
you know, last Wednesday, Marty went in for what she thought was gonna be a procedure that they were going to start doing on her esophagus. They couldn't do it, and I won't go into the particulars, so they didn't, even though they had put her out, they just woke her up.
Hey, I had a nice nap.
So anyway, what they're doing now for the next 6 weeks?
Well, we don't know
4 to
the time.
6.
I talked to the surgeon tomorrow that did my hernia surgery because
Yeah,
the gastro guys think that if the hernia has come back, which now
Okay.
we're having discussions between the the 3, 4 doctors,
Okay.
whatever, as to who's playing for who, and I
so,
don't care.
and we're not trying to share all kinds of things, but you guys know Marty, you've seen her cook forever. And so, she is going to, now take some medication before each meal and see if that helps. And they're re-looking at, other possibilities, maybe another hernia or something. But anyway, it will all be taken care of. We just keep holding her in our prayers, and she just keeps cooking. Hi, Bill Wooten. Let's see what that says. Yes, we do have. Oh, you don't you share those Emmanuel stories? Those are, what happened at Emmanuel stays at Emmanuel.
I don't know. I'm taking money to hide. Anybody want to pay me money to tell more stories? And whoever's the highest bidder. So far, Pastor Karen's the highest bidder for me not to tell them.
You're something.
I know.
You are something.
I know.
Oh, so when she gets back
I'm
with
a-comin'.
with the dish,
I'm
here it
coming.
comes.
I'm trying to trip over all the cords I have laying around. Okay, let's see if
I don't
You
know
can
if
see.
Can you see that? There, yes. Look at that. Of course, she's got it in the deepest dish in the world.
Well, that's okay. We try not to have too much stuff lying around. Oh, I'll tell you.
Oh my goodness, that looks good. What I've heard, and I've always wanted to try this recipe, this mayonnaise recipe, is that you will not eat a more moist piece of chicken than this, because the mayonnaise soaks into the chicken. What are you looking for?
What I didn't bring over.
Well, here, just use a fork.
I will. I thought that was a spoon.
Okay. But anyway, it's supposed to be the most moist that you can get.
Did I successfully block the screen?
Yeah, you
I
have.
think so. I
That's
think I
okay,
did.
they can look at your pretty blouse.
Well.
Okay, she's putting on the mashed taters.
Yukon Golds
Yes, Yukon Golds.
from Costco.
So, who knows what we'll have next week. Now she's all excited about the hot dog from Chile.
Yeah, I think that could be kind of
That could
fun.
be kind of fun.
And you like hot dogs a lot.
I do. And then we need to think of, is there something, should we find some kind of Chilean colors and stuff to wear?
Oh, we could
We'll
do
have
that.
to do our research on Chile.
On Chile. Yes, we could do something on
Yes,
that.
that would
Okay,
be
now I'm
fun.
gonna show them your plate here
Show
before
the plate. There's the chicken.
There it is.
All that stuff she spread on top, soaked in. Thank you. Oh my
right.
goodness. Oh, that's hot. Ooh.
Well, I had it in the oven.
Yes, you did. That I see. And I like the little juicy that you put on the taters.
Well, it was good when I did it at home, so
Oh, goodness,
I decided.
this is just, it smells so good. I
It
can't tell
does.
you all how
We
good
want
it smells.
smell-o-vision.
Yes. Wish we had it. But it is wonderful. Okay. She surprised me with the taters and the green beans.
Well, I knew that you needed a whole meal.
Well,
After what we ate yesterday.
oh yes, you mean the cinnamon roll?
Yeah, our lunch was cinnamon rolls.
Yes, that was a little over the top in sweetness,
Mm-hmm.
but it tasted good at the time.
Well, after I had to wait in line so long to get it.
Yes, we had gotten a little gift card from someplace and.
Benson House.
And so Marty, we'd always talk about, when are you gonna get the donuts sometime on your way in, get the donuts sometime on your way in. So she decides to do that yesterday, and she had such a time getting the stuff. I mean, the story is just, our stories are just too classic.
Well, we could have our own, if it was during the time of having the vaudeville, I think we could have done an act.
Oh, yes, yes. And speaking of that, won't it be fun, the next time that Bethel could have a talent show? I think that little talent show is something I've missed a lot. Oh, we got it. You weren't gonna tell me, were you?
No, I was gonna
Let's
wait.
see, I saw your hands fold. So
Oh,
I know.
shoot, I gave it up.
Let's pray. Gracious and loving God, the joy of working together here on this program and seeing our friends as they show up on the screen, it just is, it's something too joyful. I can't even explain it. We thank you for all the wonderful recipes that Marty has come up with and the joy of sharing them with all of you. We thank you that it's a beautiful day today, and so hopefully everyone that can will get out and enjoy that. We ask that you just continue to bless us and offer the blessing to all those who are watching as we try to have the best time and always remember you. That all of this, I hope, shows your spirit. In Christ Jesus we pray. Amen.
Oh, I almost forgot, I brought you pepper and
Oh
salt.
my gosh.
In case
In case I need it.
ruining your health.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-mm-mm. Those are, oh, I'm not gonna talk on them.
Well, you already did it twice.
Those are great herbs in that. I mean, you can really taste it. Okay, so go over again what all's in there.
Now you're making me talk in the mouth.
Talk in your mouth.
Well, I made the recipe up actually because the original one only called for garlic and salt.
These are great.
And so I added the dill and the basil, not the dill, gosh, I guess you could. But I added the rosemary and the basil because I thought those sounded really good together.
And they are.
And the onion powder.
It's very good. Did you put that on your recipe?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Because they said, some people said the original one was rather plain.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to just go through my cupboard and pull out whatever jars popped up first.
Well, it's really good. It really is. And so are the potatoes and green beans. That is great. Okay, so let's see what's going on. It's actually spring. I can't believe how warm it is outside.
Well, I can't believe
And it
it.
was just,
Yeah.
was it just 2 weeks ago we had snow?
I think it was a week ago.
Was it just a week?
Yeah, it was last week, on Tuesday. A week ago.
It's just amazing.
We had 6 inches of snow at our house.
It was something else. And here we are, end of April, and it is hot. It actually is.
Well, we know because we locked ourselves out.
Because we locked ourselves out. Oh, gosh.
This is so good.
Oh,
You know, I don't think I'd fix it any other way, you know, the mayonnaise. Oh, gosh.
it is
I
very,
wonder what the pork chops would taste like.
I don't know, but, like she's saying, you can put it on pork chops, you can put it on, what was the other thing you said? Pork chops, chicken.
Any kinds of chicken. I mean, you know, dark meat, whole chickens.
You know, I'm wondering what it would taste like on like a steak. It'd be a great sauce for a steak. Yummy. Well, it's perfectly wonderful. And see, the thing is, because she does it with the chicken strips, it's really a quick recipe.
This cooked even quicker
Mmm.
than it cooked at home.
And it's very tender and it's very moist.
Because there was still 12 minutes left and I set it for 32 minutes, so it cooked pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
I got these chicken tenders at Aldi's on sale.
Gee,
Aren't you
what a
surprised?
shock. Yes.
Well, I actually bought them for friends and it turns out they said, oh, we just don't like eating chicken. I was gonna give them to them as a gift.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
So-
They've never had this recipe then.
And I said, we got tired of chicken, we just don't eat chicken anymore. I thought, well, you're in a situation you can't afford to be that choosy.
Wow. This is,
So I thought, I'll just use it for chat cook pride.
and look what we got. A most marvelous recipe. Mmm. Well, I tell you what, we continue to hear about changes in restrictions, and that's good. Our reopening team is, reconvening to see what this means.
And I trust them,
Oh, I do too. I think they really have had the safety of the most vulnerable at heart as they look at these lifting of restrictions. And I'm so proud of Bethel because a large percentage, I think it was like 78 or 80% has already been vaccinated, and that's wonderful. Of the returns we got on the surveys.
responses.
And so if you didn't respond, we don't know what you did. But I think there was like 50 came back, 50 or something, which really, that's a high percentage. When you send out 100 and half come back, you've batting 1,000. So they look at all that. We're looking at the possibility of coming in person for sure at least one time by the end of May, and maybe with all these restrictions falling by the wayside, maybe it might be sooner. I'm not sure, but it's good. It's a good feeling. A good feeling, because I think people have gotten to a point where they're just so ready. The big thing we have to be careful of, when you first come back, it's so natural to just go up and throw your arms around somebody, and for two people that have had all the vaccinations, that's one thing, but there will be people that won't have, and so it's important that we remember that. In person, whether distanced or not, will still be masking, and so that's a condition that will stay for a while. But you know what? With this spring and this weather, it's like you can start taking a deep breath again, and maybe, just maybe, everything is going to start healing and coming back. So. Oh, I haven't even looked at the time.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
As I'm going through my books, I come upon, and like I said, I'm gonna have several books on a table out in the narthex or out in the entryway. If you want them, you just come by and look at it, and you can take as many as you want. This one I just thought is so sweet. I got this a long time ago. It was by Blue Mountain Press in Colorado. And this person who wrote it just felt the need to share, and this was back in 2001. This is 2001. And I read this introduction, and I thought, well, nothing's really changed, or it's gotten worse when it comes to anger and hate. It says, and this is how her name is Susan Schutz. Susan Polis Schutz. We all hear the same sounds. We look up and see the same sky. We cry the same tears. Our feelings and emotions are the same. All mothers are sisters. All fathers are brothers. All children are one. And yet there is hate. There is violence. There is intolerance. There is confusion among people. We don't try hard enough to understand each other. We don't seem to realize that we all have the same basic needs, no matter who we are or what part of the world we come from. I think that's a great sentence. We must understand the differences among us and celebrate the sameness. We must make the world a place where love and friendship dominate our hearts. Equality, respect, compassion, and kindness must guide our actions. Only then will we all be able to peacefully and lovingly live the life we each choose. So I just thought that was so good. And it's especially in this time and with all the different things happening, not only here in the U.S. but around the world, we just need to remind ourselves.
Well, you know, when you read that, remind me of our officers that, you know, we sponsor international officers that go to the Commanded General Staff School at Fort Leavenworth. And we didn't have an officer and family this past year because of the pandemic, and we should be getting an officer this year. We're not sure from where yet. But from our past officers, the one thing that they probably 90% of them have said is, and because our majority of officers have been Muslim, or their Christian faith has been a bit different than how we worship here specifically, and they've all said, you know, what we found is that you're just like us. You all want the same thing. You want a good life for your children, and you want peace. And they said that's what we're all here for. And they said that just brings that to mind after they meet us and the time we spend together, and we have them meet our Bethel family and friends.
It's there. I think the fear that we build up in ourselves about the stranger or the other, if you ever have the opportunity to sit with the person and see, that's the joy of having like Marty and other families who sponsor these families that come over and give the opportunity for other people to come and meet them and sit and talk with them and laugh, and it's what we are as humans. We need that kind of interaction. We need that kind of community. So here's what I want to read from her in this book. We need to feel more to understand others. We need to love more to be loved back. We need to cry more to cleanse ourselves. We need to laugh more to enjoy ourselves. We need to be honest and fair when interacting with people. We need to establish a strong ethical basis as a way of life. We need to see more than our own fantasies. We need to hear more and listen to the needs of others. We need to give more and take less. We need to share more and own less. We need to realize the importance of the family as a backbone to stability. We need to look more and realize that we are not so different from one another. We need to create a world where we can trust one another. We need to create a world where we can all peacefully live the life we choose. We all cry the same tears. Tears of fright, tears of sadness, tears of loss, tears of frustration, tears of disappointment, tears of loneliness. Lands are flooded with our tears. We need one another's kindness, cooperation, trust, and respect to survive. May it be so. Thanks be to God. Amen. So have a beautiful day. I'm going to finish eating. You cleaned your plate. You're a good girl.
It was very good.
All right.
You know, after I'd eaten all those jelly beans today, I had to eat something healthier.
Well, this is delicious. We're so happy we were with you today. Don't lock yourselves out of your houses.
Oh, maybe they should, because then it's so nice outside.
Well, that's true, but then they couldn't get back in when they needed to.
Well, maybe they could call a friend to let them in.
Well, yeah. How many friends have your keys?
Actually, we have lots of our friends'
There
keys.
you go. All right.
They trust us.
They trust you.
Yes, and maybe they shouldn't, because one time I thought that I was supposed to be watching their ferrets, and I went to their house and I cleaned their kitchen because I thought I should be doing something while I was playing with the ferrets. And I put bleach in the sink to bleach out the sink. Well, they were at the theater, And when they came home that night, they weren't leaving till the next day. After.
And they came home to the sparkling, bleach-smelling house.
Well, and so the wife asked the husband, "Who put the bleach in the sink?" And he says, "I didn't." And she goes, "Well, you know what? You've been drinking too much. You need to dial it back." Well, I didn't tell him that I had done all that.
Oh my goodness.
Right away, because I was kind of embarrassed when I found out that they really didn't leave until Sunday morning.
Yes.
And I finally told him about 4 days later, and what I heard was, "Chris, you're off the hook."
Well, so there you have it. If you want to have your house clean, oh, that's right, we got a kazoo out. I've got my kazooer. I think last week I called it a tutor, and Marty thought that was funny.
Well,
I'm glad she never said anything in response. Okay.
Well, I was just going to tell you to look behind you.
Look behind me. I know what you were going to tell me. All right, so here we go.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, and pray. Oh, chat, cook, pray. Amen. We love you. Enjoy this great day and fix this dinner.